It's been over 2 years since I remade my furry characters into humans. Although I explained briefly in descriptions of some of my videos, some people still seem very confused about it, so I feel like this topic deserves a more detailed video to help people understand my decision better. I'd like to start with the fact that I've been working on the story of Akira since I was like 9. It went through an insane amount of changes. The plots, the places, the design and the name of the main character were different, but the main flaw stayed the same. When I started doing animations, my idea was to improve and make a movie one day. But when I realized how hard and time-consuming animating is, I decided to make shorter animations instead, to learn how to animate first, and I plan on revealing bits of the story in those animations as well. Over time, fame got to my head a bit, and I continued animating the same thing because people seemed to like it. After a matter of years though, it became something that I did because I felt like I had to keep my audience happy. I had a massive art block that was dragging me down, but I still kept forcing myself to post stuff that I didn't even enjoy animating anymore. It was a loop of convincing myself to continue with it, although I no longer felt like I wanted to work on the story that way. And as I grew older, the idea of going to art-related school was approaching me. And I remember a moment when I looked at my Instagram account and I realized that I have literally nothing to put in my portfolio. It was all too childish, simple, and repetitive to include in a portfolio that should have the best pixels that I'm capable of making, and I felt embarrassed. So I started experimenting, trying art on paper with different supplies, getting out of my comfort zone. I stopped worrying about everything I made. I tried to try out new things, and I felt happy with what I made. Not necessarily because it looked nice to me, because it did not always do, but I was so happy that I tried something that looks different than the stuff I've been forcing myself to do for so long. I felt so much more free and proud, and motivated, because I understood that there is actually so much that I can improve in, and I wish to keep on improving. When I was 11, I made this silly loop animation. It's the first Akira's design. It's the first time I drew her. This was first supposed to be just a test, but I liked it, so I kept it for her. I later made her design more animation-friendly, too simplified in fact. She didn't really have a spark, something to be easily recognizable with. She was just a black and white cat with wings and red eyes. Yet I liked her design very much at the time, and I decided that I didn't care that it doesn't have something to be easily recognizable with. I thought she looked nice. Soon I designed the other characters from the story too, and I loved them all. They were all so colorful and fun looking. I like Akira very much. She has been with me for so long. I like her because of the characteristics though, not by the appearance. As I grew older, I didn't want her to be a fantasy furry anymore. I wanted her to be a person. The reason that she wasn't a person from the beginning was also because I couldn't draw people when I was younger. Now I want to. She didn't change as a character to me when I made her a human. Her personality was the same. She just looked like a person now. But everything else was the same about her. And the same applies for the other characters as well. It was so refreshing and I felt so much more motivated and happy. And, well, many people weren't happy with my decision, and it kind of surprised me and pushed me a step back, but that's okay. I understood that it was a big change to get used to, however, it's been years. So why exactly did I decide to make my characters humans? I was bored of drawing them as animals. After years it gets boring to draw the same thing over and over again. I felt stuck at one place. I wanted to actually improve and challenge myself. I wanted to grow and learn. I didn't want to let their story die. It meant too much to me to just throw away and not work on it anymore. I wanted to continue working on it, but I also wanted to avoid the negative feeling of forcing myself to engage in something I no longer enjoyed. The fact that my characters are humans now allows them to show emotions better, express themselves better, be relatable more easily. The story makes so much more sense, and it can be enjoyed by older people too, and in general, it makes it easier and more interesting to work with. And I feel so much better with them. I feel enthusiastic to work on it. I feel like I want to work on it. I don't feel embarrassed for drawing and animating them anymore, which I think is a good thing. And what do I think about my decision now, looking back at it? I gave up my internet growth rate for the price of having my motivation to animate again. People are still telling me to go back to the old times, that they miss the old Awrly, but unfortunately, I don't think I can or want to. I sometimes miss those times too, but it was also something that was dragging me down for a long time. I grew up and moved on. It takes me more time to do animations now because of high school, part-time jobs, side projects, and also because I tried to put a lot more effort into my animations. While it's okay if you prefer my old animations, understand that I won't be creating more of them. I will continue making new projects, just not as much with animals. If I wouldn't have made that decision, I don't think I would be as happy with myself as I am now. I would still be stuck at one place. But because I did, it allowed me to improve in a way I didn't think was possible, and thanks to that, I'm still here and I still feel up to creating stuff in my free time. It was not an easy decision at all, but at the end of the day, it's something that I'm glad that I did. Thanks for listening. I hope that my decision makes more sense to you now. Also, I would like to thank you all for being patient and kind. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Bye!